Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name's FPL Phillips and it's time for another episode of my weekly team reveals, and it's the first one since I deployed the wildcard chip, what feels like a while ago now, back in Game Week 20. We're going to be taking a look at how my team is shaping up now, and more importantly the decisions and the kind of thought processes I've been having ahead of Game Week 21, where there is quite a lot going on in FPL at the moment. I'm struggling to keep up to date with all of it myself, to be honest, alongside all my studies and revision. But we're going to get into it, have a look at how I'm thinking, look at the captaincy matrix as well, which is a very interesting one this week with the decision of where to put the armband, still very much up in the air for myself. Without any further ado, lots of exciting stuff. Let's get into things. And I'm glad that I finally get to reveal to you my wildcard team, because it has been a while since the start of the season, and being able to use the chip and leaving it until Game Week 20 in the end had some upsides and it had some downsides, of course, as well. I will be discussing all of those and how I kind of got on last game week in the process of revealing my team, as I should say. So in goal for me, it's going to be Areola once again this week. He's the one I actually did start in Game Week 20, so I was very happy that I made the decision to go there. My backup keeper is actually Neto, and if it wasn't Neto, then I probably would have started someone else over Areola, the other keeper options I was looking at. So very happy that I chose to go that way and kind of go with my gut and go with Areola, who has been performing very well. It'll probably be in Game Week 21 against Sheffield United in that case, where he probably doesn't, and I imagine West Ham will probably concede this week. So it has been a little bit too good for Areola owners at the moment. We'll probably due some bad luck. It was my first week on the Areola train, so I was very happy with the points return. But yeah, it could definitely stay like it. If it could stay like it's going, then I will be very happy with Areola's performances so far. But I have got Neto to come in for a certain few game weeks, and I'm happy with the combination and how that's paid off so far after 1 week. In defence is where I've had a little bit of an issue of Trent Alexander-Arnold already. He's going to be down on the bench, as you'll see with him being flagged now. But the other defenders that I chose to go with are as follows: Alex Moreno, Malo Gusto, and then Estupiñán. So I was happy to go with these guys. A few slightly more risky picks in there with Moreno, Luca Dean returning from injury. It was unclear when he was going to be back, and of course could lose his place really at any time and may well be rotated with Luca Dean in certain game weeks when the Frenchman is back. Malo Gusto kind of waiting for Reece James to return. It's a longer injury for him though, so I'm pretty happy with Gusto and how he's looking at the moment. Just question marks over his kind of attacking threat and whether he'll be able to deliver on the certain levels that other fullbacks in FPL might, such as Estupiñán, who has been pretty good as of late. He was on the bench for last game week for me. I chose to go without Pedro Porro, which was a bit of a risk. I'm still happy with the decision I made kind of regarding that and the thought process. I don't really know what exactly propelled me to do that, but I did have quite a gut feeling, and I know the data all suggested that Porro is the man. But Estupiñán, I liked the look of him, and I like having him in my team for this game against Wolves in Game Week 21. In midfield, we're going to see where Mo Salah is now absent. Bowen, Palmer, Saka and Foden are lining up there, with the captain's armband for me currently right now sat on Cole Palmer, who was my oopsie in Game Week 20 because I actually benched him last game week. I not only did not have the armband on him, he was first on my bench, firmly glued there. That was definitely a painful one. So where I had some success with Areola, etc., Palmer was definitely a big mistake last game week. We've then got Bowen, who's a little bit of an injury doubt, so a worry there as well. Sheffield United away is a lovely fixture where I would have loved to have him fit and available. We'll see the news on that because I've not caught many concrete news sources coming out and confirming the kind of extent of the injury that Bowen has sustained. So I'll be keeping myself updated on that over on Twitter for the rest of the week, basically, until the deadline. We've then got Saka and Foden, the former who I'm losing a bit of patience with. Saka, right now in my team, has kind of just got his place due to the fact that Salah, Trent, Bowen, these players are presenting issues at the moment that I need to deal with before actually looking at removing Bukayo Saka. And then finally Foden, who I'm very happy with, did well last game week. Happy to keep hold. I like how he's looking at the moment. There's of course going to be changes to the Man City 11 as there always are, but more so than ever with De Bruyne and Haaland returning to the team, and things will be shuffled around and rotated. Champions League will be back soon, so there's a lot going on, and we know that with Pep Roulette you can kind of never guarantee a start anyway, even when everyone isn't fit and available. But Foden, he did well last week. I'm hoping he can carry it on. And the Newcastle game, I don't think is bad as it looks on paper when you look at the fixture difficulty rankings over on the FPL website. Newcastle haven't been great at the moment. They've had a rest now, of course. We'll see how Man City get on in that one, but he's going to be starting for me this week for certain. And up front then, we've got my captain from last week, who ended up being Ollie Watkins. So another thing that I could have done better in game week 20 in hindsight. We've then got Julian Alvarez and Dominic Solanke. So again, I'm happy with my forward line. I think there's 3 strikers there who I'm very happy to own going forward too. And I'm going to need them to do well this week because, as mentioned, we've got some absentees due to injuries, etc. Well, Salah being away at AFCON, the other one. So it's Neto, Taylor, Trent and Salah down there on my bench. Salah is going to be the one who I'm looking at shifting out, of course. If Bowen's injury is, going to be more serious and he's going to be out for an extended period of time, which doesn't look like it's going to be the case, then maybe I'll consider removing him and holding Salah on my bench because I do have quite a significant amount of value held up on him. But, as we get further and further on in the year, value does become less of a factor, I suppose. Trent Alexander-Arnold, don't really know much about what kind of time he's going to be out for. If it is an extended period that's being kind of rumoured, maybe even months, then I'm going to have to look at shifting him on. Obviously, there are some other defenders like Pedro Porro, who I chose to go without, who I could definitely easily move Alexander-Arnold onto. And yeah, in that case, I could maybe even start Porro this week ahead of one of the players in my side. Or if Bowen looks like he'll be out, then that's probably what I'm going to have to do in order to field an 11, either making a midfield change or moving Trent Alexander-Arnold on. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys would do with my team in terms of transfers. One thing where I am feeling relatively confident and I've felt solid on my pick this week is the captaincy. But let's have a look at how the matrix is looking for this week with the popular captain picks that I can see happening. It'll add it in here. Let's have a look. And so the captain picks that are on your screen right now are as follows: Saka, Palmer, and Phil Foden. I could have gone with, a fourth one, adding in a Bowen, someone like that, who would have probably been a popular pick had he been fit. But you just can't guarantee with a lot of players at the moment, and these are the 3 that I'm really picking between. And the Fantasy Football Fix algorithm, out of the 3 of them, fancies Bukayo Saka. 5.1 predicted points for him. But the fixture does look Palmer's way, of course. Fulham at home is a nicer fixture on paper. We've got Crystal Palace at home for Arsenal, but their expected goals conceded is not quite as poor as Fulham's. Then, of course, Newcastle, who's over the 23-24 season in its entirety, have a pretty decent expected goals conceded. Well, the strongest out of the 3. But over the last couple of weeks, we know how shaky they've looked. We know that even with numbers not looking as poor, Newcastle have looked tired. They've had injuries. Whether they can recover from that initially, Man City, they're needing to win games at the moment with the points they've kind of been dropping. I could see Man City definitely going out there and looking to put on a show and get a few goals against Newcastle. So I don't think that's definitely really the worst fixture of the bunch. I think Fulham have been a strong side at times as well. But Cole Palmer just looks very influential in that Chelsea side. He's involved in pretty much everything going forward. Even at his cheap price, I'm very confident having the captain's armband on him, really. And he's looking like my standout pick at the moment, even with, expected goals as a team going in favour of Man City. Look at that expected FPL points per 90 of the individuals at the bottom row. You can see Cole Palmer on 6.9 looks like a fantastic asset so far. And yeah, he's on penalties as well. He's got that going for him. So overall, I think Palmer's a brilliant asset. I'm ruining my mistake from last week of having him on the bench. Hoping maybe I can get it right this week, put the captain's armband on him and maybe get rewarded. But I'm interested to see who you guys are captaining down below in the comments if you fancy telling me. And on that note of kind of covering the predicted points, we'll have a look at the top 10 predicted point scorers for this game week. We've got Odegaard up there at the top, which is a very interesting one. We've got Bukayo Saka on 5.1 as well. Palmer's then on 4.8 with Areola on 4.7. And then some of my other players are making it in. We've got Estupinian on 4.6. Neil Maupay is an interesting one on 4.5. Vladimir Hufal on 4.4. Ben White 4.3, tied with Dom Solanke, who is the other one in my team. And then David Raya on 4.3. So the algorithm definitely backing Arsenal for this game week. Let me know, you guys, if you think Arsenal are going to be the one to target for game week 21. Of course, there's a lot going on with fixtures being spread out, being replaced, being blanks, whatever. So it's going to be a lot to keep up with FPL at the moment. So I hope you guys are managing to find some kind of help from these videos and following along the season with me, because I've enjoyed following my season along with you guys over on Twitter and in the comments as well. So yeah, that's going to wrap up things for this game week. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to drop a thumbs up down below. It really does help us out and it is much appreciated. And I hope to catch you in the next video. Goodbye.